I'm gonna give you some exclusives that I haven't really told anybody about. The entire situation I thought got blown out of proportion. That was one of the big deals with Misfits too. Is I just part of the reason that I'm turned off to influencer boxing is
announcing your retirement today. What came behind this decision?
no, I'm not retiring from anything, man. Right now I just don't, I'm not having any enjoyment out of covering the nothing that's happening in influencer boxing. You know, there's just nothing there. And I don't know. The community is very odd. I'm not a big fan of the community right now either. So I'm just kind of, I'm like, you know what, dude? Let me just do some things I enjoy. So I'm gonna figure that out, and I think I'm doing that here at the Creed Royale. I'm gonna be, doing the commentary stuff for Jake's fight. I'm super pumped about that, and hopefully some more stuff after that.
But not really influencer boxing, right? You know, Jake Paul's a real boxer. Nowadays,
Well,
right? After August
that's
fight.
what he's trying to be, man. I mean, listen, if the guy is taking this fight in the Caribe Royale Resort, right, Andre August, versus a guy that's an actual boxer. Like, he came up doing the amateurs. He came up as a boxer. I talked to him yesterday in the fighter meetings, and his story is amazing, man. A guy that came from nothing and has just worked for everything he's got in Andre August. So, yeah, if Jake's going to take this road and fight legitimate boxers on his way to what he says is a world title, then that's what you got to call him, man. Pro boxer.
When it comes to fights like this, I mean, it's just so different to what we're used to kind of seeing in the scene. What do you think? Well, I mean, you spoke to Jake in the fighter meeting. What possessed him to do something like this?
I mean, he's been echoing this same thing for the last, couple of months now. It wasn't a business decision for him. He was like, look, I want to get more reps. This is purely experience. This is purely a way for me to test myself versus a tough guy, a guy that's dangerous, and a guy that can, potentially knock me out. And I want to go and knock him out. Like Jake said in the fighter meeting, exclusive, I guess, for you. He was like, I'm going to knock this fool out in the first round. He's like, straight up, I'm going to knock him out. And I haven't heard Jake talk like that. I mean, I've heard him say he's going to stop a guy, whatever, but I haven't heard him talk like that since the Ben Askren fight, maybe the Tyron Woodley fight. But it feels like he's trying to get back to not just being technically like, let me get technically better, but also let me like still have some of that dog and knock fools dead.
Yeah, and certainly that's like the expectation, right? Is that Jake is going to get a knockout in this fight?
I mean, it depends on who you look at. Jake's name for sure provides a bigger platform, so people, especially in the influencer side, expect him to beat the guy they don't know much about, right? Like, we know this guy. We've seen him before. He should knock out guy we don't know and have never heard of, because that's what influencer boxing is, But realistically, it's a tougher fight than I think people are giving it credit for. But I do expect to see a better version of Jake than I have seen, because that's what I think is the whole point of this, right? If you're going to do this fight, you have to see a better version of him, because the whole point is to get better with this fight as well.
So when it comes to your career, it appears that you're going to do kind of what Jake is doing, right? Where you're going to kind of do some smaller shows and really get your beak wet in commentary outside of just the influencer stuff.
Honestly, dude, Donagh, I haven't really talked to anybody about this, but I've been calling around in the local California scene and looking to cut my teeth on some local promotions there, because, dude, if I'm really ever going to consider myself a serious commentator, and I don't mean this in any way like, oh, influencer boxing. No, like, that is, I'm blessed with the opportunities I got through influencer boxing. And if I ever get more opportunities in influencer boxing, I'll happily, go through those as well. But if I'm ever going to get better and consider myself on the top levels of this scene, the John Annick's, the Ty Grishams, the Mauro Ranallos, the Max Kellermans, like, name who it is, I have to get reps, man. And doing it 4 times a year is not enough. It's just not. So I absolutely want to do more of that stuff. I don't care if it's local. I don't care if it's non-paid at this point. Like, I don't care. I'll do this stuff for free, because that's what I love, man. So, yeah.
I guess you're probably doing all right with all the other stuff that's going on. Like, it's not like commentary wouldn't be your main source of income. I guess because of what you're saying.
Not right
too,
now.
Right? Like, you're not.
Yeah.
It's not your full-time job, really. Maybe you would like it to be, but not quite yet.
Yeah. The idea, man, and By the way, I probably shouldn't have said I would do this stuff for free on camera, but hey, it is what it is, you know. I don't mind it. But
Wade will do it
it's
for
not
around 20K, right? That's the fee.
yeah, depending on still waiting on that 20K. But no, I think where I'm at right now with the content and the commentary, I'd almost like to flip them, right? I'd almost like for it to be, which it doesn't have to be right now, but I'd almost want commentary to be a full-time thing and my content be something that I'm doing on the side of that, right? Because I just I don't know, man. I think that next evolution of my career is to take that next step and really, you know, get in the big leagues. If you're gonna do this, you got this dream. You better step it up and go for it. You know. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, dude, the influencer boxing scene is a frustrating thing because if you're not playing team sports and everybody else is, then you're an enemy of the state. And for whatever reason, I've become that, I guess. And yeah, when people are trying to do things to take away from your career, that's a very unfortunate place to be in.
And by the way, not team sports. It's not like you have to be on Team Jake. There is one team you have to be on. We all know, like
Seems
it
like it.
is. I don't think I'm going out of pocket, but like it has to. You have to be on Team KSI, or you're not on the team.
Yeah, and I hate to put it that way because it's like I don't think necessarily, you know, KSI is the one saying that, but it is somewhat of a trickle effect. And even myself and him apparently have had some issues which I didn't know even existed.
Well, come
But
on, you knew
you
they
know,
existed.
I didn't know that they still existed.
But
I
come on, you know
assumed
the
that.
kind of guy he is. Like you know that he's not going to drop something like that.
I mean, I don't know. From his end, there was nothing to drop. You know, it had already been settled. We had talked, and it had already been settled. So I didn't know that there was still residual issues that we're going to have to keep going through this. And you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I have no issues with anybody over there. I've tried to remain as respectful and as complimentary as I can. Um, and I hope that whatever it goes on, I just spoke with Mams a couple weeks ago, and I honestly I like the guy. You know,
Right.
he's a good dude. He's always taking care of reaching out and you know clearing things up with me if I've needed it after the fact, and especially after the situation that happened. But we had been talking a little bit more recently, and honestly, good talks. Potentially, me even coming and doing some things with like content wise with him. Um, but dude, it's just frustrating to be in a position where all you want to do is play no teams and just
Right.
try to give an unbiased point of view and get stuck in a pigeonhole over and over. And regardless what you do to keep yourself neutral, it doesn't really matter. So it is what it is.
To be fair, like I do think as well though, like if there were really no issues, you probably would have done a Misfit show since March, right? I would imagine if it was
I don't
truly
even
bygones be
know.
bygones, with the relationship you have with DAZN, the relationship you have with the guys over there, everybody wants you on there. It would make business sense to have you on one of these broadcasts. There's like clearly you must have known like, yeah, there's still something going on.
No, honestly, I don't know if it is that because I think for them on their side of things and where I maybe can understand it is that I will be very opinionated pretty much all of the time. Even when I'm on live commentary, like I'm going to give whatever I think is happening in the most honest way I can. And for them, maybe the way I do it, or maybe the way I don't know, but me saying that sometimes may not necessarily be the best thing for what they consider to be someone as a part of Misfits, you know, whether it's talking about, you know, pay-per-view sales or opponent level or, you know, level of fighter, whatever it is. Maybe they don't think that's something that they can necessarily have consistently a part of their broadcast. If it does consistently either go with or against the narrative, it may not be something they see. So I don't think it was sour grapes or anything like that. But um, I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
And it
You know?
seems as though like DAZN, they're not the type of people who like come out explicitly and say we're on one guy's side or another guy's side. They kind of stick in the middle. But I guess when all that stuff happened initially with you and Mams, they made a pretty clear statement when you were on the PFL broadcast, like within that week. You know, because Mams was saying
Yeah.
it's a DAZN issue and DAZN and all this, but they were happy to have you on a PFL broadcast. You've since been on the Kingpin on there, been on these
Yeah.
Jake events, on a big one this Friday, other shows. So
Yep.
clearly there's not much of an issue with DAZN, evidently. Or maybe not
No,
after
there's
Sunday. I don't know.
never.
Maybe there is, maybe now.
No, there's never been an issue with DAZN, ever. I've never had an issue with them. That continues to be the case to this day. Like, have a good relationship with the company, and yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say what it is because I don't really know. But what I do know is it's never been a DAZN issue.
Of course, I'm trying to get like our clickbaity title or whatever else and all that. Like the route we go, but like
Yeah,
you say the scene, it's KSI's fans, right? They are like you would still be doing this stuff if they weren't so hard on you. If it's KSI's fans, right?
it's not just that, dude. It's a lot of things that I've seen in this scene be, like I said, team sports. I don't particularly I don't like it. It's not my thing, man. I'd rather just be what I am and not have to pick a side in every single. And it's not just one side or the other; it's both sides. But in this most recent developments over the last couple of months, yeah, it's been more on that side. But like I said, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not part of the game in some way because it is, and I know that. So it is what it is. I'll continue covering what I enjoy, but the back and forth stuff, the you know over simplification, I think, of what it is that I am, and sticking to a narrative that's been dispelled many times is not something I'm going to engage with continuously.
Right, of course. And I guess like that's probably fair enough. And I guess it's probably a little easier as well. Like lifestyle wise, not being committed to something like Misfits where it was you would have done what 12 like if you were involved this year, you would have done 9 shows like all over the world, traveling all these mad places. I'm sure you're not dying to go back to Telford anytime soon.
Honestly, like I said, the actual job I enjoy.
Right.
I don't mind the work. The work has never been my problem. If Misfits called today and was like, "Yo, can you do this, 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 this?" and I'm still able to do my things outside of it, and I have no scheduling issues, I'm down. Run it. Let's go. Because this is what I love doing, Donagh. This is my shit. This is what I enjoy. And I want more work, right? I feed off more work. It's the in between that I'm not a big fan of. It's the like, I don't know what you call it, the back and forth kind of monotonous thing that we go through in the in betweens, where we just cycle through this same like cycle over and over and over and over of just, I don't know,
No, come on.
saying
Be
stuff to
honest
say
though.
it.
You really do love when Jake says he'll fight KSI at 185, and then KSI says it has to be 180.
Oh, it's the
Every
worst, bro. It's
that's
the
the kind of
worst.
stuff you're talking about, right?
That's kind of an issue for me, yeah, but it's not anything worse than you see in regular boxing, right? We don't get the fights we want a lot of the time, but it's again, that stuff is fine. Those two going back and forth makes the fight what it is. It's the underlying after effect that what that reaches when I comment on it
Right.
is what really is the issue.
Well,
It's
unless
like,
you said
okay,
something nice
well,
about JJ.
yeah, if I'm just one sided in how I react to it, then of course it's all right. But if I try to give an unbiased take on it, then somehow I then end up once the other side. I don't know.
And you are also like in some way, I don't know if addicted is the right word, but like you are like you love engaging with people. You love like getting
Yeah,
involved and getting into
that's a
these things.
problem.
I'm constantly messaging you saying you don't need to respond to this guy. You don't really need to respond to this thing, but you
It's a
do have
problem.
like a knack for it, an interest in it.
Not even an interest. I feel like it is. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm not used to the internet. If that's like the way to go about it. I'm not used to the troll nature of things, and I should be, but I treat everybody, or at least I try to, like I'm talking to them, like I'm talking to you,
Yeah.
and I don't think that is the same level of engagement that I'm getting on the return end. Um, because when someone clearly misstates what I said, or someone clearly takes me out of context, or clearly just says something that I haven't, I just like to make sure to go, "Hey, that's not what I said. Here it is." And they're like, "Why are you responding to this guy?" I'm like, "Well, that's why." But I do understand that it's probably, and I've said this many times now, it's just probably not the best idea. That's why I like I said, I'd love to make um, content that I wouldn't have to do these back and forths with, which I guess I don't have to, but it is what it is.
But the thing is, they become back and forths when you like. I'm a big proponent. I love the block. I love the block button
Yeah,
because I love it. It's like the way I describe it to people is like in boxing, right? Like you got to take some shots to get in and land your own, right? So it's like, yeah, I'll take the L on being the guy who blocked you, and then I never have to hear this shit again.
True. I rarely block people. If I block someone, they've mentioned something about me like personally,
Right.
or they've said they've like gone after family members or friends of mine or people that are like not internet personalities, then I'll block you. But outside of that, yeah, I have a hard time doing it because I don't know. I'm like, I can't let you, I can't let you get to those
But the thing, but that's how it's like, I'm like, okay, I'll give you this one W, which is that I blocked you and I'm a loser. I can't handle it. I can't hack
right.
it. But then it's over forever. And I feel like for
Yeah.
you in particular,
Yeah.
I mean, you're considerably more famous and get considerably more interactions online than I do. And I think it would be very beneficial for you to be like, okay, I'll take a couple of L's and everyone can say that it was because I was wrong and I knew I was wrong and theorize on why the block happened. But then it's
Right.
gone and you never have to interact with, someone like I
Name
don't
bunch of
want to
numbers.
pick anyone out in particular.
First name bunch of numbers.
Yeah, first name bunch of numbers, exactly. Like it's over, it's finished. That's how is that not like the obvious thing?
Honestly, the ideal thing would be to be able to get off the internet as much as possible. Like to be honest, I
No, bro, that's a cop
enjoy.
out. And you're great on the internet. You're good at it. Like you'd come on the spaces, everyone interacts. Like that's part of the reason why people love you. You can't just leave it entirely. True Jordy did that, and he's had some trouble,
Yeah.
right?
Well, Jordy, I mean, I talked to Brian about it, and he was like, "Bro, I'm chilling now." You know what I mean? But for me, he did it for a little bit. He had some trouble, but for me, there's nothing. That's the thing is like I haven't really done anything crazy to be like, at least I don't think so. But like I said, I just need to probably dial back on a lot of it. It's kind of hard for me to remember what it was like because it's been this last couple of years have been so like every day going. It's kind of hard for me to remember what it was like without it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I would kind of like to get back to that because, dude, the thing about me was I was never, as a kid, as a teenager, even as an adult, really on the internet like that. Like I wouldn't say it's super new to me because I have some sort of knowledge about it, but
Right.
this is something that I'm still, for 3/4 of my life, I've never been a part of. So now I'm like in it, and then I'm trying to get back to not being in it as much and enjoying more stuff. And because right now, I think I'm operating in a place of like work and hard work, but I don't know that I'm necessarily enjoying a lot of it.
I guess I guess you don't have to like enjoy like if you're doing like a regular, you talked about like your father working really hard,
Yep.
right? And I guess if you were doing that, like you would still be working hard and you definitely wouldn't be enjoying it as much, right? Like that's like a thing that keeps you motivated, isn't it?
For sure. Like I mean, when I was before internet stuff, I was doing that. That was me. I had 2 jobs working from 19 to 27, 8 years, 9 years of doing that. I understand it. And what's weird? Sometimes I kind of want to like, there's part of me that just wants to go back to it. I don't know. Like there's part of me that wants to just go do personal training again, low key, and just like pop in for my do my commentary stuff, and then just go back and do that. You know what I mean? Do my little video, and then get off the internet, go do my personal training. Like I want to enjoy what I'm doing, right? Because I know that I can always go back and do things I didn't enjoy. I know that because I've done it, and it wasn't necessarily the worst life ever. Like it was hard work, but I enjoyed the time that I was outside of it.
Well, you're
right
like
now, it's hard for me.
Like you're like a lifetime athlete. Like that hard work is almost part. Like not enjoying it is kind of part of it.
It's nothing. I can do that every day. The thing is, do I want to? Like, am I doing this YouTube stuff specifically because that, or am I doing this because it's different from what it was that I was doing and I enjoyed it? That's the point for me anyway. The point is for me to enjoy
all this stuff.
My dad and I don't really talk about YouTube too much. He doesn't really understand it. My mom is super supportive. Who does he think would win
between KSI and Jake?
My dad actually was super upset with the KSI stuff. That's the only thing he's ever talked to me about.
Oh, he's one of the guys in the Twitter community.
He was upset at the other side, not at me.
Oh, right. Okay. So he's on Jake's
He was a little upset. Yeah, he's CJ. He was a little upset at me too, for sure. for allowing someone to talk about me the way I was talked about.
What are you supposed to do?
Which he doesn't get it. You know,
Right.
he's a Southern guy, doesn't really get the internet. You know, if he talked to me that way, you know, that type of thing. But you know, he's very prideful in our family name, and so am I. So he was very upset. He was like, you know, you don't let anybody da da da. I was like, I know, Pop, I know, you know. But my mom is, you know, she's my right hand. She's been through it all with me. So I've talked to her about it, and there's nothing like this. There's no real crazy thing. I'm gonna keep doing what I do, but I would just rather not have this other stuff going on. I'd rather not wake up and see my Twitter like blowing up every day over some new controversy or some BS that I don't want any part of. You know, I'd rather just
Well,
do
you
what
could
it
just
is
buy
that I
the
do.
DAZN pay-per-view and you wouldn't have any problems.
I did. That's the thing that everybody says I didn't, but I did. I don't. It's a crazy thing to watch, but yeah, I mean, whether it's a KSI thing, Kingpin thing, you know, whatever it is, it seems like it follows me. I'm not trying to promise. I'm trying to just cover stuff and do what I do, but you know, I guess like I said, it comes with the territory.
Kingpin ever pay you or no?
No, not for the second round. They paid me for the first round, which I took and halved it and gave actually more than halved it and gave Sensei his deal. And after paying my editors and for the trips that we paid for the second round that they didn't pay us to come out, I ended up probably making about what I would normally make at Misfits, about 4 grand, 4 or 5
Right.
grand.
That's not
Um,
bad. I mean, like,
which is not
if it's
terrible
like
at
what
all.
you were
Like,
expecting, would you have done it if you knew that it was going to be 4 grand at the end? Like, if you knew like
yeah,
we're going to do
yeah,
the
yeah,
three
yeah,
tournament,
for
yeah, you would
sure.
have done it for that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I would have done it for that. I mean, I would have done the whole negotiation thing. I mean, like, but I would have done it because again, it was never about like super amounts of money for me. I just wanted to do cool stuff, you know? Like that was the whole thing too that, you know, without getting super into detail, but you're my dog, so I'm gonna give you some exclusives that I haven't really told anybody about. That was one of the big deals with Misfits too, is I just wanted to do cool stuff, you know. It was tough because they wanted me to not really do much outside of Misfits, and I
Right.
wanted to do more. And I was talking about, you know, hey, you know, wouldn't it be cool if I did some pro wrestling, some pro boxing, some MMA? And honestly, they were not happy about, you know, the creator clash stuff.
Really?
It was talked about it. Hey, maybe don't do that because you're
For
a
free for
Misfits
charity?
thing. Yeah, but I don't think that they weren't looking at it like that. I think they were looking at it like if you're with us, be with us, you know.
Right.
Um, and they were like, I can't remember what the other one was that I was thinking about doing. Oh, they didn't like that I did the Deji thing either. The Mayweather
I'm
deal.
surprised you like that you did that edgy thing.
No, I agreed with him after the fact. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I shouldn't have done that. But it was an opportunity. But again, it was a weird place because I was never signed with them, you know, and there was no, we weren't, it was DAZN and me, and I was through DAZN going there and doing that. So it was never, it was a tough thing. But the whole point, I guess I was trying to get to was I just wanted to do cool stuff. And I felt like Kingpin, after the whole, you know, have fun on Kingpin, the whole thing, I was like, all right, well, at least I can do this and still go and do PFL and still go and do, you know,
Yeah.
whatever else. And so that was the reason I ultimately said yes. Like the money was great, whatever, but that was the ultimate reason I said yes to doing it.
So I can put in the headline, I can put in the title, Why I Left Misfits. Wade.
Dude, I mean, everybody knows why at the end of the day. Like
Right.
it
Maybe
was
I
out
could
there
put
for the
in
internet
like
to see.
maybe something you just straight up didn't say. Like KSI is the reason I'm
Oh yeah,
quitting.
that would be the freaking thing that everybody else does anyway. So
Hey, bro, I
so
might actually do it because I need these views, bro. No, I will. I wouldn't do
yeah,
that
it's
to
like
you.
that right now.
Sorry?
I said it's like that right now. The views are
No,
low
no,
for
no. I will.
everybody
I
in
wouldn't do
influencer
that to you.
boxing,
But
huh?
no, I do think, yeah, like at this stage in your career, like you're young in your commentating career, you probably want to be able to take as many opportunities as you can. I mean, I know
I
Misfits
just
are doing
wanted
like a lot of
reps.
events, but
I just wanted reps, and I thought it would be a cool idea to have that exposure in another place and try to. Not that I'm like some big draw or anything, I'm not, but to try to bring those people back over to the Misfits side.
yeah,
That was kind of the idea too, you know. But it's tough because I understand it from their end. You know, Joe Rogan, let's say. Joe's not going to go do a pro boxing show just
Right.
randomly. He's going to be with the UFC, and that's just it. So
But you
I get
could
it.
like, I think you're right though. Like it would be like Todd, right? His whole appeal, or a
Todd,
huge part of his
yeah,
appeal, is that he's like the WWE guy.
right. That he had not just that too, but people forget Todd was with Sports Center and ESPN for a
Yeah.
while. Um, he's done stuff in multiple different facets. Basketball, he's done some football. He's done some hockey in the Northeast. Like he's been around the block. You know what I mean? Like he's done it all. So that is a major appeal. You hear Todd Grisham's name, you know who that is.
Yeah.
Whether it's from your childhood with, like you said, WWE or Sports Center interviews, whatever. He's been around, man. So yeah, I thought it would be a good feather in my cap, but um, that's why I'm kind of doing this now, and they're doing their thing, and that was another reason that I kind of wanted to be able to do more, and that wasn't at the time at least possible with Misfits.
What's the deal with the pro wrestling now? I know that you were talking to some
I'm going to
promotions
sit
and
down
stuff.
with, yeah, well, we had talked to AEW, myself and my manager, but nothing ever really came of it, man. Who I want to talk to and see if I could get something done with is Charlie. Wade's Critical. He has his, I think it's Moist Wrestling, or I don't know what they call it, but
Right.
down in Florida, he'd be running events, like legit events, and that would be fun to get my start on. But yeah, man, I'm gonna chat with Todd while I'm down here and just pick his brain and be like, man, what would it take, for me to get involved, at a very, very low level. Like I said, I don't care about pay, just reps. With the WWE, with NXT or something like that. Do I need to move down here to Full Sail? I don't know. They're right down the road here, which we kind of full circle because I used to live down the road here.
Well, you wanted to be
And
in WWE
actually,
for a while, right? You had like a
I
trial or something?
trained it. I trained it. I trained down here at Team 3D Academy with Bubba Ray, uh, Dudley, or excuse me,
Devon
yeah,
Dudley?
Bubba Ray, Devon, and Billy Gunn. We're all down here.
Billy Gunn was coaching you?
Yeah, man. Billy
The
Gunn said I
ass
had a
man?
nice head collar tie up. Yeah,
Yo, that's pretty sick actually.
he was, and he still is jacked, son.
Yeah. All natural
He
too.
was, well, he was, he was. It was crazy though because he could really turn it on, man, and he could be physical, obviously, if he wanted to, but he could walk you around the ring, effortlessly. Like you wouldn't even feel it. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy to watch. But he did chop me one time, and I was like, Jesus Christ, okay, I
Why'd
don't
you
know
give
how
it
to do
up?
this.
Was
But
it injuries?
I had a bicep surgery, and then also what was it? Hurricane Harvey, I think, one of the hurricanes
Right.
came through and hit even Orlando pretty bad at the time, and they had to shut the school down for like 2 months. And I had surgery. I was like, well, shit, I'm not training. I'm barely able to work. I think I got to go back to California and work a little bit and then maybe come back when they open. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I
Right.
was all right. So I went back to California and just never came back. I don't know. It just life happened and just never went back.
What's the California thing? Because you're from Tennessee originally, right?
Yeah, yeah. Originally I'm from Tennessee. Moved out to California in 2013, I think
You were
now.
gonna be an actor, were
And
you?
no, no, I just moved out there. Look at what you smiling about. I moved out there. Really, just I wanted to be a commentator. That was the goal, man. I ended up changing my major, going back to school because I was convinced at Tennessee Tech to be in business and not journalism because
Right.
I started out as a journalism major. And I changed my major, went back to school, got the best grades I ever got in my life, took it super seriously for about a year and a half, and then I was sitting there like, what am I doing, man? I'm not. This is not working the way I want it to. I don't know if at 20 at the time, 22, I can go back and get these internships and these opportunities. I don't know. My head was all over the
Right.
place, and I just decided, all right, screw this. It's too expensive in California. I'm just going to go to work and I'm going to start this YouTube channel. And around 23, 24, I started the YouTube channel, and yeah, that was kind of the start of it. And then I got an opportunity to do modeling and stuff after that. Yeah.
Right. And obviously, great movie. Sequel, maybe. Do you think they
No,
released it
no,
because you got famous?
no. I think that it was just happened to be that way because that's my life. Apparently, I don't
Right.
know. I have no idea why they released it, when they released it, or why it took so
But
long.
like
I don't
if
know.
they
I
were
have
like if it was sitting on the shelf, do you think like is there a chance like a producer was like, hey, the star of this thing is actually like a pretty big deal on YouTube?
maybe, maybe, but I mean, I literally haven't had contact with anybody involved with that film in 7 years when it was made. So no, I have
And
no
you didn't
idea.
want to act again after that.
I didn't even want to act before it. It was just, you know what it was? I got paid $1,400, and at the time I was dead broke,
Wow.
and I was like, I need money. You know, I should have realized that when the main character's name was what was it, Donovan Steele,
Pretty cool
and
name.
no one else with any acting experience wanted to take it. I probably should have realized what was going on here. But what are you gonna
That
do?
was I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. I haven't like got
Please
around
don't.
to.
No one ever see that movie, please. I haven't ever seen it. You know that? I've never watched it.
I thought you watched it on the live stream or something.
No, I just told people what happened because it started coming out, and I was like, "Well, okay, I guess I got to talk about
Right.
it."
I
And I
think,
just
well,
based
look,
off
your
memory.
performance looked good in the ads I saw anyway. When you were humping the
Okay, good.
air.
Yeah,
Oh,
not the most proud moment of my
I
life
imagine
for
your
sure.
parents in Tennessee love that.
Oh, I don't think my dad even knows I made it.
Right, right.
My mom does. My mom's not happy about it, but my dad doesn't. But I wouldn't even like. Why would I tell him? Hey, Dad, you want to check out a dope movie? Nah, bro.
Could you
He
believe
wouldn't
the
even know
speed
how
it
to
all
look it
went?
up.
Sorry?
He wouldn't even know how to look it up. My dad doesn't know how to use any sort of technology.
Right. Well, he's no, he
He gets
does.
in
He's in the
fights with his
KSI Twitter
iPhone.
community.
I don't know how he even found the YouTube to talk about. Like he'll find some videos and then he was like, "Who's this? It's KSI. Who's that?" And I tell
Right.
him, he's like, "Well, I saw a video and my stepmother had showed him, and he was like, "Well, what was going on there?" And he's like asking me like months after the fact, and it's already been dead and gone, you know. But yeah, no, he's technology illiterate.
You thought KSI beat Tommy or no?
I didn't think he beat him, but I didn't think he lost. That
I
makes
think
sense.
it's
I
nuts that
truly
like a fight that close, you could be that like like obsessed with the idea you didn't like. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like,
I could give him credit for going, dude, if you really didn't think you lost, then stand on business and be like, nah, bro, I just don't feel like I did. But if if there's this like continuation of like counsel and appeal, then I really don't understand that part of it. Because if they've said, hey, look, we're not overturning this thing, what at that point, what are we continuing on for?
well, I guess those King's
Um,
Council lawyers probably, I'd say they're
I'm
quite
sure they
happy to
cost
continue
a
on for
bit.
a couple of months.
Yeah, I'm sure they cost a bit. But like I don't mind him not, you know, thinking he lost. A lot of guys do that. For their careers, they
Sure.
do that. Oscar De La Hoya still says he beat Floyd Mayweather
Sure,
to
Jake
this
reckons
day.
he probably does reckon he beat Tommy, like
Everybody
in
does
quiet and
it.
private.
Everybody does it. Colby Covington's about to fight on Saturday. He still says he never lost to Kamaru Usman. You know what I'm
Lost
saying? Like
twice.
he still says he got robbed in that. He's like, I got robbed by an early knockdown, like all this on early stoppage. I'm like, okay, well, fighters are gonna think that. It is what it is, man. Like the thing with me and the thing with everybody else, I think, was when he was like, yeah, go berate Tommy, like go do your thing. I was like, that's a little weird. I wasn't thinking it was like some kind of big deal, but I was like, that's a little odd. But it just shows like he's a competitor, man. The best competitors ever are the sorest losers in history. They are.
Mhm.
All of them. Every single one of them. Michael Jordan was a sore loser, one of the sorest losers ever. Kobe Bryant was the sorest loser I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, terrible loser. You just saw Pat Mahomes. I don't know if you're a big football guy, but you saw Pat Mahomes cursing out the referees for a blatant neutral zone infraction on his own guy this Sunday. The best competitors are sore losers. It's just what it is, man.
I love football. I love the Minnesota Vikings, my
I was
favorite
gonna say you're a
team.
Vikings guy, skull baby.
Hey, bro, we did you see that match on Sunday? It was
Yeah, 3-0.
0-0.
They're benching my guy. They're benching my guy Josh Dobbs, man. I'm a Tennessee
The
guy. That's
goat.
my dude. The goat, bro. No eyebrows, freaking Astro Dobbs. What are we saying?
I feel like Kirk could have played on Sunday in his current condition and probably thrown at least one touchdown.
Listen, Josh Dobbs is a good guy, and I don't want to see him slandered, so I'll just say he had a bad game.
Are you surprised at how quick this all happened after it took like they say like a 10-year overnight success, right? Like you were doing the channel for ages and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it all arrives in kind of like a 3 to 6 month burst.
Yeah, I am surprised by it, and honestly, I'm starting to feel what I consider the aftershock of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew it was coming at some point, but I was super surprised that it was having success at all. And obviously, I
Yeah.
went with what's having success, and let me delve into it deeper. And honestly, it's how I fell in love with the influencer side of things, and really started covering it more was because I didn't really know too much about it. I'd covered the Logan and KSI one fight because I was interested in it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. YouTubers are starting to do this combat sports thing. It's a little goofy, whatever, but I want to see if they're good. I want to see how they look. And then I delved deeper and deeper into it. But yeah, the rise of it was really, really quick. And I don't even know if I was super prepared for it, but I'm starting to see now that maybe it was so quick that I almost wish it would have been five more. If that, so it's going to sound weird for me to say 5 more years of me building and building and building
Yeah.
because I'm still getting my feet under me in this.
Well, I remember when we first talked, I was like, this guy has 40,000 subscribers. He's huge.
Right, right. Yeah. I mean, dude, yeah, it's all happened, like I said, super crazy. Even at 40K, I felt like, damn, I didn't think I'd be here. I never thought, honestly, I started the YouTube to be a resume because I didn't graduate college
Right.
and I wanted to show companies
Not
like
smart enough.
DAZN. Not smart enough. A chip off the old block, as my pop would say. None of us graduate college. But I don't think that's crazy. No, my brother's the only graduate in the Plemons family right now. So shout out, my bro.
Is this the
But
musician or the other one?
musician.
Right.
Yeah. My youngest one, he's a freaking carpenter now, man. He's out here building houses and stuff. He's trying to run his own construction business, the whole thing. He's a monster, dude. But
Professional musician.
um,
Surely he must be like, come on, put me on. Get me a
well,
little bit
it's
of
a little different. It's a little different, right? What he does is more so like orchestra kind of stuff and stuff like that.
right. You know, there's
And
a
he's very
guy, like a
private
famous
too, so I'm
Plemons
like, yeah.
guy, like an actor.
Jesse Plemons, yeah, yeah.
Is he related to you in any way?
I don't think so. I think he spells it with two M's, no, or does he spell it with one?
I don't know. Well, you only call yourself Plem these days. That's
Well, I
sick of the
was trying to
second
protect
syllable.
trying to protect, what some privacy I do have. But no, I think he spells it with two, and if he doesn't, I don't think we're related. But I did remember that because I used to be a big fan of the show Friday Night Lights, and he was on there as Landry, I think was his character. And I was a super big fan that somebody with the last name was repping. I was like, yes, but no, I don't think we're related. I don't know that I'm related to any super famous people.
Not yet.
Well, the Plemons name, I looked it up. It sounds terrible, but you know how you can like do the history of your last name.
Right.
Um, I don't know what website it was, but it was like your family has a history of dying young and driving 18, like driving cross country.
God
We were
damn.
like a history of truck drivers, or
And you do
like
travel cross country a lot, right?
I do be traveling. I do be traveling, man.
I don't
But
know. You got to
yeah,
keep
bro.
yourself safe. And these KSI fans are killers.
Facts.
They could get
Big
you.
facts. If they catch me slipping, man,
Well, they caught you slipping on Saturday, right? That was like
they
a
keep
half a
they keep.
second.
I mean, like I said, anything that's going to be used against me will be stretched to the max and twisted and turned and everything else. But wherever it comes from, I just got to be able to take it on the chin and keep going, I guess.
You don't think you have that fear of being wrong? What's it called? I keep seeing the meme every time you tweet anything. They put like a word for like fear of being wrong. You ever see that?
There's a meme of a word of a fear of being the
Yeah, I
people.
can't
They put a
remember.
tweet. Is it like a picture of my face?
No, it's just like
They always
they'll
be
just
putting a
like
picture of
you'll
my
tweet
face.
something probably about the fan, like it'll be some influencer boxing thing, and there'll be like a word for like the fear of being wrong. It's under like all of your tweets.
The fear of being what?
Fear of being wrong.
The fear. Do I have a fear of being wrong? Is that what you're saying?
Atelophobia. You don't see those
Atele,
tweets?
Atelophobia. Nah, because some of the tweets I do. I don't be blocking people, but I do be muting people.
Oh
So some of
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
so some of the people that put like I don't know ratio or like apologize to KSI. I'm like, all right,
Right.
bro. It's the same tweet 7 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, dude.
And you should
That stuff.
apologize.
Yeah, at some point I got to, right? For all to be right in the world.
That's what the fan
Um,
always demands. I don't think I've ever once not apologized to the fan when he asks.
yeah, no, the fan will always ask for it. Won't ever get it though. But no, I don't have any fear of being wrong, man. I've been wrong about a lot of things. I don't even know how that's a statement. I've been wrong about Jake, for one. That's the big one I've been wrong
Yeah.
about. As a person and a fighter, I've been pretty
Mhm.
wrong about that guy. I was wrong about KSI, to be fair. I was wrong about KSI in the Tommy Fury fight. I thought he was going to get smoked. He didn't.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was very impressed. Well, I thought he performed very well. I don't know that I would say impressed with. No,
I
I
was
guess I was
impressed.
impressed with like shutting down Tommy way better than Jake did.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even if it's a shutdown, the fight itself doesn't have to be a barn burner to be an impressive fight to me. You know, to do something to shut your opponent down completely in that way, hey man, there's not a lot of guys that done it to Tommy. In fact, I don't know if any of them. So
Well,
that's
like
impressive.
Jake probably should have tried something like that instead of trying to like box with him when he
Went
clearly like
back
you
and
just
watched
can't
it.
get as good as Tommy is within 2 or 3
Went
years of
back and
training.
watched that fight. Yeah, I went back and watched it. Jake was having some real trouble with trying to stand and really just exchange with Tommy. The exchanges, he was not in great rhythm. Tommy was throwing combinations on him, and Jake's was just reacting to everything versus proactive fighting. And yeah, that was one Jake's biggest mistake in that fight was, I guess, trying to outbox the boxer. He wasn't ready yet. He wasn't. His
I don't know if he'll
footwork
be
wasn't
ready. Like it's,
there.
I think he should probably go back to kind of how he was against Gabe, kind of Ben Askren type thing. If he's like
Well, this
on
is what he was
right
saying to
now,
me. This is what he was saying. He was like, not like, oh, I'm just gonna abandon, but combining, I think,
yeah,
a lot of what he's learned about boxing and how he's become better as a boxer. And I'll give him all the credit in the world. Jake has become a fantastic boxer for the time he's been doing it. Um, and having some of that spite, some of that sit down on punches, and hey, you know what? Even if I have the knowledge, and I think that was what messed with him a little bit in the Tommy fight, is having the knowledge of where he's safe and where he's in trouble, and understanding
yeah,
that to a degree to be like, oh shoot, okay, let me just get back to, because this is what my coach has said. I need to be, versus being like, all right, we're gonna bite down. You want to throw? Let's throw. You know what I'm saying? Here goes that overhand. Here goes that left hook. Whatever. I think the balance between that is where he's going to have his most success. Because you're right, it's going to be very tough for him to become, this like I shouldn't even put a great name out there, but a highly skilled, technically sound, precise volume puncher in the amount of time he has been training. So he needs to have that X factor, and that X factor for him is knocking motherfuckers out,
probably the worst thing that could have happened was the way he knocked out Woodley, though, right? Because it seems like he fell in love with
or
his
just
power a little bit.
winning consistently. For
Yeah,
a guy like that. And it's the gift and curse of I guess his level of boxing. Like, of course, he needed to win like that. He needed to, for Jake to be the star that he was and is. He needed to win like that, because knocking out Nate Robinson propelled him like this, and then the Ben Askren this, and then the
yeah.
Woodley. You know what I'm saying? Without those things, he isn't where he is. But with those things, like you said, it was probably a detriment to go, oh, everything's good, grand, we're just winning. You know what I'm saying? We just keep winning. Sometimes you need that. Wait, what? We didn't win. Why didn't we win? What happened? You know what I'm saying? And then you go back to the drawing board and figure it out. But yeah, I think that was honestly the way you said it is good. But I think just saying the loss to Tommy was probably the best thing that could have happened to him.
Oh God, if he like snuck a decision there, because it was like
Yeah.
it wasn't a particularly close fight, right? But like on the
No.
night, there were people really debating which way it could have gone. I mean, not like they were with the KSI thing.
Well, there were people that thought it was a split because it was said as a split,
Yeah,
but I didn't see it, like you said, as a very close fight. But had he somehow edged out a decision there, it would have been just what it was. He would have just kept doing what he was doing. I've seen, even from that fight, and people are going to laugh when I say this, but I've seen evolution from Jake from that fight to the Nate fight that I didn't see before that,
mm-hmm.
in back to back to back to back fashion. I'd seen him get better, but not okay, now we're doing things a little differently than even I've seen before this. So I think it was a really good thing to happen to him.
The Nate fight was tough to watch, though. I think that's probably part of the reason you're hanging up the gloves in this influence. Is like a lot of these fights are tough to watch.
You talking about the Nate Diaz fight?
Well, like Nate, like Jake and Nate, rough watch. KSI,
I
Tommy.
liked it. I didn't mind either of those fights. I was because maybe it's because of my level of investment, you know.
I guess you were much
Um,
closer to Sweetie than I was. I guess that's probably part of it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that was almost a distraction. That was a detractor. I was my neck's long. It was about to break watching that. But no, when you have a guy like Nate, it wasn't ever going to be a technical match. But I think just my level of investment and the fact that there was maybe it was because I was in the arena, but I enjoyed the fight. I really did. I thought I saw a lot more out of Jake than I would. But I knew it wasn't going to be a conventional Jake walks in, knocks guy out fight, or Jake and Nate go to war for, both landing 40 plus punches around type thing. Now, the Tommy fight with KSI, I didn't expect to go that way. So maybe that was a reason a lot of people got deflated by it, was because you expected KSI knockout or Tommy domination. And that didn't happen. Right. So it was like a little bit deflating, maybe just because the way it went.
Well, I feel like it's not that didn't happen. It's more that like nothing happened.
That's what I'm saying, because those two things,
round.
it was like a very much slower pace, kind of clinch heavy fight. Yeah.
It's a tough sell that there was some sort of a boxing conspiracy when Tommy got a point taken the second he threw one to the back of the head, and JJ didn't get a warning for all the holding.
Well, I mean, Tommy was throwing. The problem is, and it's multifaceted, but Tommy was hitting JJ in the back of the head. JJ was in the clinch, turning away from shots, which naturally does put you in a position to have the back of your head hit. And JJ did hit Tommy in the back of the head as well, but Tommy did it more and did it more blatantly. And also KSI sold it. Like KSI out of the clinch sold it. Was like, which is, by the way, smart. Listen, you want him to stop doing it, you tell the referee, hey, he's doing it. Referee's not doing it.
His game plan was like nothing. Like it was an unbelievable. Like this is the thing, is like it sounds like I'll rag on KSI a lot, or like I'll slag off KSI, but it's like that was a perfect game plan.
You neutralize Tommy's jab, and he's essentially not even one-dimensional. He's no-dimensional. And that's what that fight showed, honestly. Like, Alexis and them straight up were like, we're going to neutralize your best weapon. And they did that. And then Tommy went, uh-oh, I got nothing else.
And I've always felt that Tommy's bad in front of the crowds, right? And that was the biggest crowd he ever fought in front of.
I just don't, it's not even, I don't know if it's Tommy's bad in front of crowds. I think he's just not a complete, like, there's a big gap in what he is versus what he thinks he is.
But I do hear these stories. Like, I do legitimately, from people who I trust, like Andy Lee has said he sees Tommy in the gym compete with like very high level light heavyweights and cruiserweights, and even some heavyweights as well. Like, and it's like I can't imagine where that guy goes on these fight nights.
Maybe some of it is the crowd. Maybe some of it is KSI's. I mean, of course, a lot of it is KSI style, but I think it's just there may be a portion of that just isn't carrying over. Maybe he's one of those guys, like you said, that leaves it in the sparring room. That we've seen a ton of those guys in combat sports for years. And maybe that's the case. From what I've seen from Tommy, though, it just looks like there's a lack of development. If we want to be real, like, Tommy needs to get away from John, if we're going to be honest about it. And that's never going to happen because he's not on the same level of, oh, shit, he might actually be world championship level like Tyson was. And Tyson was smart enough to get away. He was like, okay, I don't know what his record was, but he was like, let me go ahead and bring in some high-level coaching outside of Big John. And Big John can be there. He can whatever, but you can't have Big John as your head coach. If you're Tommy, if you're serious about this and getting better, because all I've seen from Tommy is consistently the same thing. 4 years.
And I think you can't have Big John in any, like, he can't be at the press conference doing his wacky stuff. Like, Tommy's pretty clever. He tends to get he got the better of Jake on most of the verbal exchanges, was getting the better of KSI and these things. But it's like the cheap stuff that John will do will make people, like, he will take over the whole thing.
Yeah, it undermines it. It makes it the John Fury show. And maybe that, honestly, that might be another thing. Maybe that is another place where Tommy is uncomfortable. You know, if he has Big
Yeah.
John, he can be Big Tommy almost essentially, you know. But if Big John's not there, then maybe that is the point where we're not seeing the disconnect. That's maybe why Tommy is, it's like the double-edged sword. And maybe why Tommy is so confident, and when he's talking, he's got the get on, big lad, you know, all that behind him. But when that's not there, maybe he's not. Like, I don't know. But yeah, it's a catch-22 because Big John will tend to take over the show.
Well, look, thank you so much for more of your time than I was expecting. Sorry about taking so much of it, but
No,
I
bro, you're
appreciate
good.
it.
Yeah.
And I will, yeah, by the way, give us a shout out. What are you going to be? Okay, so we've got DAZN on Friday,
Yeah, DAZN on
and
Friday.
we can watch
I
it on,
think
we can watch it. It's free. It's not on pay-per-view.
if I watch it on DAZN, I will be back for most valuable prospects in February. And then
BKFC.
from BKFC, I'm talking with. As far as I know right now, we're working on something long term. We'll see. Trying to get that done. Would really, really enjoy that. It was one of my favorite things. Both times I've been out there. Really, really enjoy working with those guys. Would love to do, honestly, I would love to do more IRL stuff. So hopefully more content with that coming out, like more training, more working with people. I talked to Mighty Mouse about doing some stuff
Right.
with him, so we'll see. But yeah, just
You would
doing
beat
more
Mighty Mouse,
stuff I
right?
like.
Because you're 260.
Listen, I'm not Bradley can hold all that. I'm Mr. Humble when it comes to fighters, man. I ain't doing none of that. Bradley, you got that, big fella. I'm not. Mighty Mouse would tie me up in a freaking pretzel, dude.
Well, I don't know. I'm way bigger than 260. Do you think I could beat up Bradley Martin?
I think you are doing a great job at what you're doing, Donna. I think you should stay right there and do that. You're a
As
beast at what
far
you're
away
doing.
from the ring as possible.
Yes. Hey, I did hear about the backyard spars you were working. So who knows?
Bro, I showed you the video of me fucking smashing up my old work colleague, Harry Davies.
I didn't see that. No, I did
Well,
not see that.
there's a 2 second clip of me landing one little full counter, and nobody needs to worry about the other 2 minutes of the round. I've been sending around a slow motion video of
Yes,
me
yes. Music
throwing
with
one
it, the
punch.
whole thing. Yes, we
But
like
no,
it.
I think maybe Wings or Boogie. I think that's what I said it to Miles. I was like, I'll
You
fight
have been saying
anyone
that. Yeah, yeah,
if it was Wings or Boogie. Anyone if
yeah.
it's those two, but not anyone other than that. I don't want to fight Arms.
Yeah. Oh
Bro, I
God,
don't know.
no.
Maybe
You
my
crazy?
cardio is better than Arms.
I'm gonna let you hold that one again. Listen, you said it. I don't know. I don't know nothing about all that. But yeah, dude, I would be down for that. You versus Boogie, you versus Wings. Let's go.
Boogie needs the money, and I certainly, I might,
Jesus.
we'll see. All right, thank you so much for your time, mate.
Peace.